Okay, so hi everyone, lovely to see you as usual, particularly as it's sunny weather, which is good. So continuing the theme of samskara and overcoming our patterning and our behaviours. Got one more week of this topic, which we'll finish next week. So this week's theme is called Abhaya, or fearlessness. So this is basically, we've gone through setting our intentions and then having our vision and our intention for what we want to achieve, and then our daily rituals and having that kind of discipline to follow through with those every day. And then this week's theme is the fearlessness part, which I'm sure you've experienced if you start something new. There's always that fear. So this is where the philosophy invites us to step into the unknown and do these new actions, take these steps and step into our fearlessness and see what we find and how we feel after we've taken these courageous actions. Because often we find it's not what we were expecting, or it gives us a boost after we've done them. So yeah, so this week's theme is fearlessness. So we'll be doing a couple of balancing poses actually, which you might find a bit challenging. So stepping into our fear. Yeah, so we'll get started then. So as ever, please find a comfortable seat, whatever works for you, perhaps legs to the side or crossed legs. Yes, do use the block, that's more comfortable. So starting then with the sitting bones, just observing the parts of your body in contact with the floor. Perhaps in your next inhale, gently lifting through the spine, finding some length and space. And now you're welcome to close your eyes or keeping them open. So, taking a moment to just notice how you're feeling today. So you might have some little physical aches and pains, so just noticing those. And also observing how you feel in the mind. Perhaps you've had a busy week, or perhaps not. All the way, just inviting you to observe without judgment. And now we'll connect with our breath for a moment. So inhale deeply. On your next inhale, observing the rise and the fall of the abdomen. And the next breath, just extending your inhale slightly. And you aim to sit upright. And noticing if your mind's wandered off, gently bringing your awareness back to the breath, if that's the case. might find it useful to focus on the point between the eyebrows. Which is known as the third eye in yogic philosophy. Point at which we come into our intuition. Okay, and when we're ready, we're slowly going to open the eyes and come back into the room and sense the world around us and the room around us. And now we're going to work with the Kapalabhati breath, which is the energizing breath. So today, not to do it with the arms, but actually today we're going to do it with the hands on the abdomen, just to help us make that connection with the breath. So it's a cleansing breath. It actually translates as shining skull breath. This is because it's supposed to be very good for cleansing the sinuses. So quite good at this time of year, actually, if you have hay fever. So it consists of lots of sharp exhales, and then so the inhale is quite passive. So when you're ready, we'll take 10 short exhales. So hands on the abdomen, and let's go. Down into a normal breath. So it can feel a little bit unusual if you're not used to doing it. And after one more standard inhale and exhale, we'll take the Kapalabhati again. So ready. And down to normal. As you do the breath, you might really notice your hands moving in as you take your exhales. And we'll repeat for a couple more rounds. Starting again now. And one more round. And now just release the hands. And bring your breath back to a normal rhythm, just observing how you feel after that energizing and cleansing Kapalabhati breath, one of the yogic cleansing practices. And then from here, let's just take the right ear to the right shoulder and bring the right hand onto the opposite ear. And just take a few breaths here, observing the stretch in the left side of the neck. And as you stay here, can you relax your shoulders so they're away from your ears? Continue to sit upright, so we're opening the lungs right to the top of the lungs. And then inhaling to come to center, and exhaling, other side. Opening the neck and also stimulating for the vagus nerve here. And when you stimulate the vagus nerve, this brings the parasympathetic nervous system into action. So this is the system in which the body can rest and digest. So you might just notice a little bit of saliva forming in the mouth. This is a sign that the digestive process is kicked in. Come back to center and just take back to the right. So a sign that the body is going into this parasympathetic mode. And once more to the left. And now let's release the hands. And can you come into high kneeling if that's comfortable for everybody? If it's not, you could perhaps make it a bit more comfy by rolling the mat. Taking a moment to come up to high kneeling. And let's do a few shoulder rolls. Mobilize the shoulders. And now let's put the hands on the shoulders and roll each shoulder back one by one. Just drawing your navel to your spine here. And reversing the direction if you haven't already. Just taking a moment to observe your breathing here. And let's just allow the arms to rest for a moment. And can you gently now twist to each side, so to the right and then to the left. Perhaps swaying the arms a little bit. And perhaps a little bit of movement into the hips. Still allowing the arms to sway freely. And let's slow down the movement and take a twist to the right. Just hold that for a few breaths. Using your inhale to find the length in the spine and the exhale to perhaps turn over the right shoulder. And the left hand might just rest on the right hip. And changing to the other side. Now the right hand might rest on the left hip. Stay facing forward, and as we twist, just beginning to stretch the muscles of the back. And then we'll make our way back to centre and to all forwards. Preparing for, we'll take cat cow, so fingers spread wide and the index fingers pointing to the short edge. And as you inhale, lifting the sitting bones, looking forward as a mat. And on the exhale, tucking the chin around in the spine. Repeating. Next time you exhale, you have that abdominal awareness and redrawing up through the pelvic floor, really actively pushing the floor away, so you really feel you're rounding into the upper back. And then please repeat for a few rounds in your own time. And then we'll take a little bit of creative time here. So you might want to close your eyes, depending on how you feel. This is just a point where you can move according to how your body feels. This might be an area which you find difficult. So breathing into Any sense of uncertainty which might arise with moving, this idea of moving to your own rhythm rather than following me. But it's really important in the yoga practice because yoga is all about self-awareness and working with what feels appropriate for you. So you might take the bottom right back towards your heels and then make a figure of 8 to the hips, or perhaps some C shapes. As we mobilize the spine in all directions. And then let's come back to center. And can you take this latter block? You got one. If you happen to be doing a video at home, you could grab a book at any point. So just put the block between the hands. So the thumb is at the base of the block and the index fingers around the side, a little bit like this. So we'll just work with lifting the legs. So first of all, just begin by really squeezing the block together and just observe what doing this with the difference with taking this action with a block. It helps to engage the arms and the shoulders. And now we're going to inhale to extend the left leg, lift it to about hip height. And can you find the lengthening from the crown of your head to the toes? Keep on squeezing the block together between hands. And on an exhale, taking your nose to your knee to draw the knee in. Inhale, reaching back once more. Finding your gazing point as you balance in this pose. And drawing the navel to the spine. And take a couple more rounds of nose to knee. Moving quite slowly. So working with form today. Okay, everyone. Rolling the hip. Pay particular attention. Actually, I'll demonstrate on the other side. So we'll now work on the other side. So I'm now lifting the right leg, but pay particular attention to the hip here. It might have a tendency to roll out away from the midline, but if you can keep the hip rolling down, so it faces the mat, in preparation for our poses later on, so warrior 3. So holding the pose for one more breath, and then we'll take the nose to knee several times. Lovely, everyone. Working with your rhythm and your breath. Squeezing the hands towards the block to keep the shoulders and the arms engaged. Lovely. And now we'll remove the block and we'll take the variation where we include the arms as well. So inhale, reaching back with the left leg, and this time reaching forward with the right arm, so opposite arm to the legs. And just holding the pose for a few breaths. Staying with your gazing point and navel moving to the spine. Keep reaching and finding that length. And once you've taken a few breaths on the first side, we'll repeat on the other side. Holding the pose today. Just relaxing the jaw. So whilst we're staying very active with our extended arm and leg and the navel to spine, what can you release in this pose? Perhaps a little bit of tension through the face. So let's lower the limbs and then perhaps take the child's pose. Okay, and then we're going to come back to all fours. And we're going to tuck in the toes and take a bent knee down dog today. So I'll come around the side just to mix it up for me as well. So we're going to take a bent knee down dog. So staying here on the tabletop with an inhale, and then exhale, bending the knees, really lifting the hips up and back. So focusing today on finding length from the fingertips to the tailbone. And then from here, we're going to inhale and lower almost down to the tabletop position again. But then you just hover above the floor, pressing down through the hands, drawing the navel to spine. And now exhaling to step the legs back into plank pose. Once again, having the abdominal awareness. And tucking the chin slightly here. And then we'll inhale to return to all fours. So we'll repeat that sequence a couple of times. Okay, so inhale here on all fours, exhaling, tucking for a bent knee, downward facing dog. Inhale for our hovering table. And exhale, slipping the feet back into the plank. Imagine our belt buckle is shining forward towards the chin, which is nice in the pelvis. And then inhaling to come back to all fours. So I'll talk you through a couple more rounds. Taking one more inhale here in the tabletop, and then exhaling for the bent knee down dog. Lovely, really helping us find length in the spine here, lovely. And as you lift your hips a little higher, relax your head, lovely, lovely. And feel it, relax your head. Lovely, and then from here, inhaling to our hovering table, knees just above the floor. And then exhaling, stepping back into the plank pose. Lowering the hips, lovely. Everyone, straighten the legs, strong legs, yes, beautiful. Very nice. Inhaling, lower the knees, taking a moment in the tabletop. Actually, yes, let's just come into child's pose. You might feel this quite strong in the wrist. Just take a moment in child, perhaps circling the wrists a little bit, wiggling the fingers. As these poses are quite strong in the wrists. And then we'll repeat the sequence once more. So coming back up to tabletop, taking a smooth inhale here, and then on the exhale, taking a bent knee downward facing dog. Just noticing how it feels to take down dog with bent knees. Does it feel good? Does it feel irritating? Are you desperate to stretch out your legs? Just observing what comes up for you in this pose. And now we'll inhale to come down to the hovering table. Knees just above the mat, lovely. And exhale, coming back into the plank pose. So lowering the hips, straight and strong legs. Lovely. And now inhale, let's come back to all fours. Lovely. Okay, and now from here, taking a breath, we're going to exhale, and we're going to come into down dog once more. This time, stretching out the legs, taking a moment to find your way into downward dog today. And after you found your dog, holding the pose for a few breaths. Really pressing down through your index finger knuckles, lovely. Relaxing your head and moving your chest towards the thighs. Great, and then from here, can you walk your hands back toward your feet at the back of the mat? So you're finishing on a forward fold, perhaps a bend of the knees if this is good for your lower back. And just hanging here in this kind of ragdoll position, you can take the opposite hand to the opposite elbow and just gently move from side to side and sway.
Just allow your upper body to stay quite relaxed here. The attention moving away from the upper body. Now placing the hands on the legs, and we'll just roll up to the mountain pose of Uttanasana very slowly. So hands on the legs, almost coming up vertebra by vertebra, zebra upside down for quite a long time. So just taking our time to come back upright. And just doing any kind of little movements that might feel comfortable, like rolling the shoulders. Okay, so you're going to be stepping forward, aren't you? Because you're at the back of the mat. Okay, so from here, can you step the right foot forward to the front of the mat? So preparing for warrior one then. So feet about hip width apart, and the left toe is pointing towards the front left corner. Lovely, everyone. And now bending the front knee. Might take perhaps a slightly longer stance, and just be mindful of the knee. You want it tracking towards a little toe. Lovely, that looks beautiful, everyone. Okay, so I'll do a few variations of warrior one. Inhale, and on the exhale, can you bend the elbows and gently open the chest towards the sky. Inhale, arms rise, and exhale, hands rise. Inhale, arms rise. Yes, you could bend your front knee a little more. And on this exhale, can you fold forward and sweep the arms back behind you? And you're keeping that front knee bent. And then we'll inhale to rise up once more. Exhale, elbows back, sense of opening through the chest. Inhale, rise. Hands rise. Inhale, and folding forward into the humble warrior. Palms might face each other, or if it's comfortable, you might now interlace the fingers and gently move the arms away from the back. So take the option that's right for you. But quite a strong pose here in the quadriceps muscles of this front leg. Okay, now let's inhale up to warrior one. If you can, just stay steady in this warrior one pose for a few breaths. Being in the pose with intention, drawing the navel to the spine. Yeah, lovely. And now let's lower the arms. And can you, you're going to need your, actually no, I don't need any blocks here, so forget that. But come back into the warrior one. But so the right foot still forward at the front of the mat, left foot back. Just a slight, we're going to go into warrior three, so a slightly shorter stance. So this is where we might, so this is a balancing pose, so this might be a pose in which you perhaps feel a little bit uncomfortable, but we're going to take it step by step as we step into the unknown together. Okay, so bringing your weight into the front foot, the right foot, and now folding forward over the right leg, so your torso is squared over the leg, and let's bring the hands on the hips to start with. So have a sense of groundedness through this front foot. Really feel that you're connecting to the earth through that foot. And now begin to come up onto the ball of the back foot. And now perhaps the toes of the back foot. Okay, if you can, I'll fold a little bit further forward so that your head is more or less level with the hips. And now you might choose to take the arms out to the side. And if you'd like to step into your fear with me, you might begin to lift up the left leg. And please, also, if you like, remember you can use this side to practice with, so reaching the arms forward. Yeah, it's quite an unusual feeling to get used to, so if you're not comfortable about taking the balance, you can always use a wall or a surface to
help you get into the pose. Okay. So let's just come out of the pose. Notice how you feel after we come into that challenge. And then let's take the pose again. Perhaps a little wiggle around, and find a bit of freedom in the body after engaging some of those muscles. I won't make you do the hula hoop movement that I was teaching yesterday. Okay, and let's go into the pose a second time. So once again, bringing the weight into the right foot, and a sense of stability through the right sole. Really feel that it's solid there, and it's acting as this brake to support you. And then bending, a little micro bend in the front knee, hands beginning on the hips, coming onto the ball, and then the big toe of the back foot. And then if you feel comfortable, coming into your version of the balance, the toes might just be off the ground a little. Wherever you feel comfortable coming is fine. Perhaps stretching the arms out wide. Or if you're finding this, you could experiment with taking the arms forward, so reaching forward with the arms. Lovely. That's great, everyone. And it's really nice to see that your hips are all rolling down towards the floor, so we're engaging the inner thighs. So just coming in and out of the pose a few times. The last time. I think it's probably the heater's not on today, so I'm sure we can probably use that to rest on. Okay, lovely everyone. So we'll come back to the front of the mat, and feet about hip width apart. And we'll just take a little floating movement before we take the other side. So inhale, rise. Exhale, rolling forward. Inhale for your halfway lift, really squeezing the shoulder blades together and tucking in the chin. And let's fold forward. You're in the forward fold once more. And now inhaling to move the hands up the legs and gently rolling into Tadasana, getting ready to take the warrior one on the other side. So some of you at the back of the mat, some of you at the front. So assuming everybody was at the front, now stepping back with the right leg, so we're doing that left leg at the front this time. Great. Okay, so first of all, mindful of your hips both face forward in warrior one, yes, and the back toes at an angle, lovely. So inhale, let's bring the arms, drawing the navel to the spine to help with our sense of stability and purpose in the pose. We are warriors in this pose. Bend the front knee a little more. Lovely. Knee tracking slightly more to the lizard toes side. Lovely. Okay, so from here then, warrior one, let's inhale now to draw the elbows into the body and open the chest towards the sky. And then inhale, rise, and exhale, hands in prayer. Inhale to reach up once more. And this time we'll take a little twist to the left. I remember if we did this last time. Let's inhale to rise and exhale to take our humble warrior, so folding forward from the hips, really finding length through the spine and taking the palms back to face each other. Keep your front knee bent and engage the thigh muscles of the front leg. Inhale to rise up. Exhale, hands in prayer. Inhale, rise. Exhaling to open the chest. Perhaps a gentle arch of the back. You might look towards the sky if that feels comfortable, otherwise stay facing forward. Inhale, rise. Let's take a twist to the side. Keeping the hips facing forward, so the twist is coming through the spine, lovely.
And then we'll take our humble warrior once more. Interlacing the hands if you feel comfortable here. Are you okay here?
Yep.
Okay. So staying here for a breath. If you can, just releasing your head as well, so relaxing the head. Reconnecting with your breath, your abdominal breath, your deeper breaths. Perhaps you don't always use during the week, and then we'll rise up back into warrior 3. Just hold warrior 1, even just hold it for a couple of breaths. If you are feeling a bit unsteady, you could perhaps take a slightly shorter stance or have the abdominal awareness. And now let's release the hands and step the back foot forward. So the right foot steps in a little bit. Okay, so perhaps a little wiggle in the body before we go into the warrior 3 on this side. Okay, so now we've still got the left foot at the front of the mat and the right foot slightly back. Turn and square your body so you're facing forward over the front leg. Inhale to find length and fold forward. Perhaps beginning with the hands on the hips if this feels good to you, or you might even prefer to take the hands out wide if that feels more stable. So work with what feels better for you. Transferring your weight into the front foot and then onto the toes of the back foot. Perhaps you might even begin by just pulsing the big toe off the ground. And when you're ready, perhaps beginning to lift the right leg. Going towards the ground. Lovely, everyone. Let's come out of the pose, and when you're ready, we'll go into the pose once more. So, rounding through the front foot, beginning to fold forward, arms wide if this is most stable. And then the lifting the back leg. Great. And it would be better to get the form right. So keep this left hip rolling towards the ground and just lift it a little rather than taking the alternative, so lifting the left hip higher and rolling the hip out. So working with our form today. Working on muscles of the back and gluteus. Great, okay, so let's come out of warrior 3 and then we'll take a wide stance on the mat. So if you turn to face this end of the room, it's all right. Okay, so taking a wide stance, lovely everyone. So, what are we going to do first? Let's turn the left toes towards the back of the mat, lovely, and the right toes, as always, facing towards the front right corner of the mat. Awareness of the collarbones, so they're facing back towards the long edge, and drawing the thighs together, so you feel that firmness in the pose and roundedness as we draw the navel to the spine. And let's now go into our warrior 2. You might need to modify your stance perhaps a little, make it a little longer if your knee is forward of the ankle. So do that yourself and really feel into the pose. Can you reach intentionally with the arms, really finding space? Lovely. Okay, lovely. Be great and long, so that's lovely to see. And now let's release the hands. And let's turn the feet now so the toes are slightly wider than the heels. And we'll take this 5-pointed star, so reaching up through the chest. Turning to look at the sky and lifting how this feels. And then from here, let's heel toe the feet together and take eagle pose. So now grounding down through the right foot and maybe cross the left leg on top of the right. Really hugging the thighs together and the left ball of the foot or the left of the toes. Yes, that would stand lovely. So left leg on the right, which means the left arm is now underneath the right, as we cross the elbows, and then turn the backs of the palms to face each other. Okay, so the beginnings of eagle pose. This might be as far as you want to take it, but if you're comfortable, you might start to bend the knees, have your gazing point, lifting through the elbows. The elbows are about shoulder height. And if you'd like to feel into your fear, perhaps you're not fearing, perhaps this is something I'm just projecting. So, but if you'd like to come into balance, you might start to lift the left toes onto the floor and bind them around the right leg. So we have lots of different variations. You might even bind the hands once more as well. Just working with the version that's right for you. Really squeezing the limbs in together. This pose is said to be particularly good at, it gets the lymphatic system moving, as you're squeezing all the limbs together, and when you release, you get this kind of energetic movement, the fluid in the body, the blood and the lymph can flow again freely, so can be quite detoxifying. Lovely, let's come out of eagle pose, and once again, this is 5-point start, so we can counter pose, what we do. Now just turning the feet parallel, as we just fold forward, so folding from the hips, arms sweeping down the legs, perhaps a little micro bend in the knees. Gently come back to standing and heel toeing the feet together, ready to take eagle on the other side. So this time grounding down through the left foot, this firming this left thigh, and now crossing the right leg on top. Really squeezing the right leg towards the left, lovely, and now the right, so the right leg's on top, so that means the right arm goes underneath. Okay, so crossing at the elbows, and now back to the palms are coming towards each other. Lovely, everyone. So find your gazing point and draw your navel to the spine for stability as we start to bend the knees. Can you keep the elbows lifted or away from the body? And then if you feel comfortable, you could begin to lift the right toes off the floor. Your steady gaze here, the eagle's gaze.
And let's come out of the pose, spreading wide for a moment before turning to take the warrior to the other, in the other direction, so right foot to the short edge of the mat. Okay, so left toe is pointing towards the front left corner. Inhale, palms rise, and exhale. Bending the front knee, as I mentioned, just being aware of the knee, it's over the ankle. If it's forward of the ankle, you might switch to a slightly longer stance. Really lovely. Gazing forward over the right fingers. Anyway, right, if we come out of the pose now, please could you grab your grip. This is where we're going to go into Ardha Chandrasana or half moon pose, another balancing pose which might be a little challenging. Let's see how we get on. So let's learn the feet, quite a wide stance with the feet, and now returning to almost the warrior one, warrior two style legs with the left foot towards the back of the room. Lovely. Stepping in a bit now, so you've got a slightly shorter stance, going the other way, the left foot towards the back of the room. Lovely, okay. And now let's, you can keep the block in your hand actually. So we're going to bend the front knee, so a little kind of bend in this left knee so you feel a little sense of buoyancy. And now we're going to reach down towards the floor with the left hand. The grip goes on the floor slightly forward and to the side. So you might have it saying 10 centimeters forward of your left foot and to the side, and then beginning, if you're comfortable, coming up onto the toes and the back foot, and experimenting with just lifting the back foot off the floor. So this might feel quite alien to you. Work with what feels comfortable. If you are comfortable, you might choose to lift the leg and the hip rolls out in this pose. So quite different to warrior three. So we're almost aiming to stack the hips on top of each other. Yes. Lovely, Philip. Lovely, Kate. Beautiful, Tanya, everybody. Okay, and then from here, if you're comfortable, you might even lift this right hand off the hip and take it towards the sky, do it in line with the lower arm. And you gently bend the front knee, and can you lower the back foot to the ground and almost come into this, back into this warrior two style shape. So actually a graceful transition out of our Ardha Chandrasana, and then when you're ready, let's turn to the other side and take it to the other side. So, keeping the grip in the right hand this time. Let's inhale, take the arms wide, and now beginning to bend the right knee and making our way down to the floor with our grip. So you might choose to have the grip on the higher setting or the lower setting. Your weight transferring into the right leg and experimenting with lifting those back toes off the floor. It might just be a little bit. Sorry, lovely, everyone. So can you roll the top hip back a little? So yes, lovely, lovely. So you're really feeling that you're opening the body. Lovely, girls. So you've really got the movement there. You're opening the hips, which is great. Hold your pose if you can for one more breath and challenging
challenging pose. If anyone feels particularly comfortable and you want to bend the top knee and take the heel towards the bottom, that's another variation. You can also reach that top arm behind towards the heel. If you're feeling, yes, lovely. Yes, yes, great. So the sugar cane variation. So as I said, it's our own journey, non-competitive practice, and if you've had enough of Vajrayana, perhaps just taking a moment to yourself to enjoy the weather. Okay, all right then. So now we're going to turn to face the front of the mat and come down to the floor onto our fronts. So taking the palms out to the side, about level with the shoulders, elbows again. We're going to revisit the baby cobra which we did last week. So as you inhale, lift the hands off the mat and gently begin to feel the chest of the mat. Legs are active, so kneecaps lifted. And let's exhale to lower down, perhaps turning onto one of your cheeks and you can see which one. When you're ready, we're going to inhale once more, lifting hands off the mat. So you're using the muscles of the back here. Very good. Strengthen. If you can, pressing the tops of the feet slightly towards the floor, lifting the kneecaps. And when you're ready, lowering down, perhaps resting on the other side. And now let's take the full cobra pose. We're at the back, the end of the class, we're quite warmed up. So the hands just slightly forward to the shoulders. And on the inhale, gently lifting up. A slightly stronger back bend than a Sphinx, which we often do. Keeping the elbows tucked in. Lovely. And so please release. Bringing the arms in front of you this time, you can make those a pillow with the arms. Just taking a couple of moments to rest in crocodile pose. And you might choose to gently roll the forehead from side to side. And now putting the left arm on the floor, so the left hand is reaching over to the right in front of you. And you now reach the right arm back and bend the right leg. Perhaps reach towards the ankle. You might not reach the ankle. Right. And now just a gentle quad stretch here. So gazing forward. And can you keep your breath smooth and even so the inhale and the exhale almost feel like a complete circle, no pauses between them. And let's release that side and now take the right hand towards the left and reach the left hand back.
And now let's release the quad stretch and preparing for our relaxation. So you might like to put some layers on. Make your way down onto your back. Your arms now to your breathing. On the next exhale, the feeling of letting go, relaxing your head, relaxing your jaw. And then allowing this sense of relaxation and release to make its way down through the body, releasing the hip. And step down, just relaxing the legs and the arms. Taking a few moments in stillness. Gentle movement. Drawing your knees in towards your chest. Or if you'd like to arch the lower back and then turning onto one side. And then making your way back up to your chosen seated position. I'm going to bring the hand into this mudra. This is the mudra for fearlessness. This is the right hand, by the way. I'm not doing the mirroring. So this is said to bring us courage for going into the unknown. So that Abhaya mudra. So taking a breath in. And thank you very much for coming, everyone. Thank you. Wishing you all a good day.